Oh my god, look at me. It's a Willy Wonka review and I'm all monochromatic. No life, no joy. I need a scarf or something. There. Christmas in the Northwest, ladies and gentlemen. So Wonka's directed by Paul King, who directed the Paddington movies. It's a remakeable slash prequel kind of tied to the Gene Wilder movies, but not 100% because there are differences between the two universes. It's the story of a young Willy Wonka, talented in chocolate, not a penny in his pocket. Didn't mean for that to rhyme, but he is talented in chocolate, not a penny in his pocket. But he's gonna rock it and then he'll sock it to the chocolate cartel. We're going down a well, going straight to hell at the ring of the bell. He gets hustled into debt, thus he's in servitude to work off that debt with a bunch of people who are also in the same boat. That's his main motivation. Wonka and his friends have basically been enslaved in this laundromat, so he wants to make enough money from his chocolate to pay off their debts and open his huge chocolate factory. Which I won't lie, when Wonka was signing the contract, didn't read the fine print, I was like, oh, the days of those multi-channel networks on YouTube. Took me back. Not all joy, but it did take me back. Do people still sign on to those? Real question. Have they gotten better? Do they hustle you like before? All right, so Timothée Chalamet as a younger Willy Wonka. I thought he was great. He has the charismatic likability you want from a protagonist in this kind of a story. Also, from a younger version of the character Willy Wonka, you can see how this young, talented optimist might later become this older, talented recluse. And like I said, like this world of Wonka doesn't feel like it's a 1-to-1 ratio of a prequel to the Gene Wilder Willy Wonka, but the tie-ins are definitely there. Hugh Grant plays an Oompa Loompa who looks identical to the Gene Wilder Willy Wonka Oompa Loompas. The Oompa Loompa songs, some of the other songs in the movie are pulled straight from that version of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. It's pulling what you need from a beloved classic, which is probably smart to do. When you stray too far, fans don't tend to like that, though the songs in the Oompa Loompa songs in the Tim Burton movie, I believe I remember them being more accurate. They were more in line from the songs from the play my elementary school did back in the day, I can say that. Funny observation, don't want to compare the two movies too much because they are just not related, but the Tim Burton Willy Wonka was trying to bring joy, a childhood joy to people that he didn't have in his childhood because of his father. Wonka in this movie is nostalgically chasing the childhood joy he did have in his childhood because of his mother. Two very different paths, two very different vibes. I gotta say, I like the optimistic version of this one, which is a good time. And it is a good time. Undeniably, this movie is made for kids. Families, yes, but also kids. Like I've said before, there's a difference between a movie that's made for families and made for children. I myself found the movie... It's like the phrase, charmingly delightful. When people say, charmingly delightful, I feel like this is the vibe they're talking about. In which some of the jokes in the movie didn't land for me, but I couldn't help but think, like, if my niece was watching this, she would probably be laughing. But there is enough to keep parents engaged also, because it actually deals with heavy themes. Heavy themes of entrepreneurship, corruption, trying to start a small business when going up against titans of business who are all aligned against you. And let's face it, the little guy going up against corporate douchebags, that would have been enough. That would have been enough to get the audience to be like, I'm on that guy's side. But that little guy being a beloved character from all of our childhoods, I mean, come on. We're rooting for Wonka in here. There are things in this movie my brain wants to give a pass to that I usually wouldn't give a pass to. Feels like it's me going through pathetic amounts of cope. But all things not being equal, these things that would be misses in other movies did mix better in here. Whether I say they're okay or not, the important thing is that I just address them. Love or hate, make of it what you will, as long as you're informed my video wasn't completely useless. That would be the noticeable CGI and the overuse of green screen. In a world this fantastical, I get it, you gotta. But it was definitely noticeable in here, but for the visual aesthetic of this extraordinary, almost cartoonish, larger than life kind of world, it mixed better than when I watch other movies and I'm like, that CGI is very noticeable. Also, some of the acting from the side characters I felt was meh. Sometimes it's meh, sometimes it feels like they're in a play and they're projecting how actors in plays project because the back row needs to hear them. Like, it almost feels like Sesame Street, like, gee, Big Bird, what are we gonna do? But I couldn't deny the fun and family magic the movie did have in its presence. The first two acts are stronger than the third act. The third act has this whole espionage element to it, and I was like, okay, this feels very different from the magic of the first two acts. Kind of overplayed its hand with that element, but when you feel the magic of Willy Wonka on screen, That's when the movie was at its strongest. And I had myself a good time. No alcohol required. Funny enough, the last real solid memory Willy Wonka has with his mother in this movie is on a boat. So does Willy Wonka associate boat rides with the loss of his mother? Thus, boat rides in Wonka's factory are nightmare fuel. I don't know, possibly, but that does make sense. All right, so Wonka, have you seen it? What did you think about it? Whatever you thought, comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to say more.